we're going to begin with Activity 34. I do want to just back up and make some comments about Activity 33 before we proceed, because there was a few of the questions I didn't address in the previous video. So in this arrangement where some powers are assigned to the federal government and others reserved to the state governments, I want to emphasize that this arrangement maximizes liberty in the sense of self-government, because we have the most ability to govern ourselves through our state and local governments, and this arrangement leaves lots of power in the hands of the state and local government. So if we're here, we have lots of input in state and local governments, less in the federal government, and so there are powers that are assigned to the federal government, and we have some input into those, but lots are reserved to the states. And then I ask in letter C of Activity 33 about personal liberties, that meaning of liberty that we've studied that concerns personal choices, that I've used a circle to remind us of that meaning of liberty. That's over under the jurisdiction of the state governments. The federal government is not assigned any power whatsoever over personal liberties. These are reserved to the state governments to make laws and draw lines as the people of the state see fit under the limits imposed by the state constitutions. In letter D, when I talked about the increase of the power of the federal government beyond the limit of 1/8 as it was previously understood, in letter D I'm asking, how does that impact or affect self-government? The answer is that self-government decreases, because as more power is exercised by the federal government, it's power that is exercised by the government that's farthest away from us, so we have the least input into that. So self-government decreases, also limited government decreases, because the federal government no longer observes Article 1, Section 8 as a limit, as that limit was understood by the people who ratified the Constitution in subsequent generations. So now getting into Activity 34 proper, this is just kind of more of the same, just to kind of reinforce what was just said, that in letter A you have again political scientist James Caesar is saying since the 1930s and especially since the 1960s, many contend there's almost no limit on the exercise of national power, so long as a national majority wants something, as long as it's not expressly prohibited by the U.S. Constitution. The express prohibitions are in Article 1, Section 9, and in the Bill of Rights, and maybe one or two other places in the amendments. But as far as Article 1, Section 8 being viewed as a limit, that's no longer the case as that limit was previously understood. So again, just as I said, when the federal government increases its power beyond that limit following 1937, and then especially after the 1960s and Lyndon Johnson's Great Society, you have this increase of the power of the federal government. So powers are now being exercised by the government that's farthest away from us, where you have the least input. So self-government decreases. The ability of the people of Texas to live under our own laws has decreased. Liberty in the sense of limited government has also decreased. So you can see that whatever the benefits are of this increase in federal power, which we see to this day with the new passage of the healthcare law, liberty decreases. Whatever the benefits are of this increase of federal power, liberty in the two senses mentioned here decrease. Liberty in the sense of self-government, liberty in the sense of limited government. So we are less free than the generations before these developments took place. We're more something, but we're less free, as liberty is defined in the liberal tradition. I remember having a good student who questioned whether or not this took place, this increase of federal powers suddenly following the 1930s. And just parenthetically, there was some increase following the Civil War. There was a little increase in the years of the progressives, the teens, and 1912, 1919, that area. But really, this kind of breaking forth from the limits didn't happen until the 1930s. And I just, as I was reading a history book, Oxford History of England, this was kind of confirmed by David Kennedy, that truly following or during those 10 Depression years, the 1930s, the power of the federal government was massively enlarged, and this development forever transformed the scanty Jeffersonian governments, scanty meaning small, limited, Jefferson being the one who emphasized the importance of limits on the U.S. Constitution